Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and here is our final reveal of our project that we have completed featuring Bibi Cameron's new collection with Spellbinders called Snowflakes. Here is our album, and this album measures 6, and it's just over because of the folds, but it is basically a 6x8 album with a 1.5-inch spine. Now the spine, I will say I should have made it a 2-inch spine because this is alligating mouth here, but I like chunky books. But it is something to be considered once you do put it on your shelf, that the end here is coming out a little bit and will expand a little more as you put your photos. So for our outside cover, we used the Snowflake card maker and all of the beautiful foliage that went with that. We used the Believe in Christmas Magic. Covered that up a little bit, but that's okay because we can just add a little dimension to bring that back. Added some gems, gold gems to the twigs and also the centers of the poinsettias. That's what I turned them into, and I double layered those. I used pearls for the hollies, and I added one to the eye in Believe since that was coming off that, and added a doily just to break away from the snowflake so that it would stand out a little more. This album is going to have double mats, meaning I've got a base mat and then the pattern paper will be the second mat on top of that throughout this book. And it's a very thin border instead of the regular borders that I use. For the spine, I added one of my extra delicate snowflake layering pieces that I had, and I had put a brad in between them and punched a hole in one of the tips of the snowflake, added a bulb safety pin with a snowflake charm. And then the back, we also used the card maker pop-up with a delicate snowflake and had that come off of the pattern paper and trimmed that. I usually don't do too much to the back. I put more focus into the front. Remember, these albums are very dimensional when it comes to layers. So for this layer here of the snowflake, I did add 2 layers of fun foam to give it some more dimension. The sentiment has 5 layers of thick, heavyweight cardstock. And then, of course, you can see those florals just coming off of that as well. So it's always something to be careful of. I added a ribbon, organza ribbon, from underneath the cover and the back cover for our closure. And as we open this up, on this side, I just added, I was originally going to do 5 cards, but because this, you saw in the video, I'd said because it was already expanding itself and wider than the spine, we stopped at 3, but certainly can keep going. So on our inside cover, I have 2 flips. I added one of the snowflakes as an accent piece, and I'm trying to find a piece of cardstock. We'll just use this, where it's a tuck, so you can put something there, a photo, and then this opens this way, so we can add a photo here, add a photo here, opens this way, add another photo, and then you have this large area here where you can add another piece of paper to do journaling and a photo, or you can just add a large 5x7 photo. This is using magnets as the closure. For this side, we come up to our first card. I have a belly band, a horizontal one, and I added a 5-inch or excuse me, a 1/2 inch gusset. Could you imagine a 5-inch gusset? A 1/2 inch gusset on each side so that it will expand. There's a lot of layers in that card. Added a snowflake to follow the theme of the card underneath, so the snowflakes are just exploding. And when you open this, I have one on the inside as well, just to add a little bit to hold the card in place so that it didn't slide out. And this was our easel card. And we have a sentiment on the inside that says, wishing love and hugs this Christmas. And then I pulled another sentiment from my stash that says Merry Christmas. And then our snowflakes are just exploding off of that. You can add a photo here, here, and here in our card. You can also add a photo to the back as well. So that is definitely a choice. You can even add a photo here, a larger one. And again, this just sits here. This one closes first. That kind of locks her in. And then this piece comes across. And again, that is held with a magnet. As we go to our third page, I always count this as 1, 2. Now we're on our third page. We are on our next card. I think this might have been our second card, and that may have been our third card. Sorry about that. So here we have another belly band. For this, I used, again, one of the delicate snowflakes to embellish. Magnetic closure. This one's a vertical belly band because of the way this one is. And this is the gate folded Z folding card, where we have our sentiment here. Again, pulled that from my stash. And all of the glimmering snowflakes that we did. I did a panel here and a panel underneath. And then I chose different foils, Aura, Prism, polished brass, and silver to put on light gray cardstock. And then we have another sentiment there, may your days be merry and bright. Now you can tuck something underneath here a little bit to get that in, or here, and even down here. This is the main one that you can create a tuck or have something sitting there. And you can even do that a little bit up here to tuck something there if you want. You can use the back of the card for either your message or a large photo or a couple. Same thing here. Kept these open. So again, that just lays there. The large one comes down and then the shorter one comes up to lock that in place. Since we didn't do the number of cards that I was thinking I was going to do, we added just 2 other elements and they are the same. So here, now this one's a little tough because you can see it's just coming up. But if you turn this, these will spin. And if you spin it all the way around, this opens up. You have a pocket here. You can put a photo here and in this area here, and also here if you wanted to. Just hold that down and that swings around and holds that closed. I used one of the small snowflakes from the pop-up snowflake for the center of your card to do that embellishment. On to our next, it's the same thing. We can take this tag, spin it out of our way, add a photo here. This flips out. We have a pocket, photo here, or you can add another piece of paper to do your journaling. You can always do that. Whenever I put these together and I sell them, I always give pieces of paper so that you can add pieces that you would want, whether it's journaling or more photo mats if they're not already in the album. And then that just slides over to close that. And you can have it on an angle or have that straight across. For our final and back page, we have a lower belly band. It's a horizontal. Again, decorating it with those beautiful, delicate snowflake dies. And this will open like this and open like this. Now, the reason why I put this down is because it'll latch right onto that sentiment. It's raised up a little bit with some double-sided foam, so it stops right at the belly band. And that's something that you want to think about so that the piece just doesn't slide out. And once we open this, we have our card. And again, you can put a photo to the back, a photo here, put a little journaling spot here and here if you want. But when you open this card, this beautiful snowflake just comes to life. And I have 3 layers. Standard A2 card here, I have a matte here, and then the 5x7. And these are open. I did not adhere them into the card so that the mechanism will work cleanly and completely, because you want this to go flat. That's what really stretches out that beautiful snowflake. And once again, you can put photos down in here. You can journal around your snowflake to hold your memories. To simply put it in place, just put your belly band across and everything is well secured. And I always get nervous when I do this, but I'm going to pick this up and you can see everything is staying in there. And that is our project featuring Bibi Cameron's beautiful collection of snowflakes. This just ties together like that, and you can create your bow. I will have pictures up on my Facebook page and in Instagram for this album, and I am also in the process, hopefully it should be ready, where I will have a free download on the cutting measurements for this book. I am going to alter the spine so that you don't run into the situation that I ran to here. So I just have to make those adjustments, but that will be available down below if you wanted to create this album. I do, as always, hope you enjoyed this project. Again, it's just another way that we can use our stash of Stampin' Dies as card makers and our pattern paper to get the most of what we have. The products that I used will be listed down below, and if you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below as well. I will make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. Stay tuned for more information coming from me in the near future. I'm getting excited. I hope you will be just as excited as I am. Remember to hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up, and make sure you ring the bell for more tutorials on how we can just have fun with our stash. Enjoy the art that you create. Enjoy, most of all, the process. Don't get frustrated. You may have a tip or trick that works for you, and I hope I help you along the way. But remember what's most important for me. Always be creative, and thank you so much for stopping by. I'll talk to you in the next one. Till then.